Welcome to the Paragliding XC Stories. In today's story, I invite you to join me on my biggest flight yet, which I was lucky enough to complete on May the 9th, 2024. We take off from the green slopes near Lago Maggiore, head straight for the highest peak in Switzerland, the Dufourspitze, then cross the snowy alpine deserts towards the St Gotthard Pass, and finally return to the takeoff. This was my first time flying in this area, so I'm very happy that this first attempt was so successful. If you have any questions about this flight, feel free to join my Telegram group. I'll be happy to answer them. At the time of editing this video, it's my longest flight, 220 kilometers flat triangle or 203 kilometers FAI triangle. The length of the route is about 240 kilometers, which is quite efficient for such a big flight. Ready for another XC story? Buckle up, we're taking off! In the morning the air is a bit stable here, so I spend some time waiting for thermals to break through the inversion. But patience pays off, and after 20 minutes of waiting in the air, I can finally climb high enough to start my journey. The first small clouds already mark the thermals over the peaks. Still, the climb is quite weak, so I have to be patient. The sky is almost cloudless in this area, which is exactly what the weather forecast said. I really like the scenery here. It puts me in a great mood for my long XC flight. Here I find the first strong thermal of the day. It's working! After reaching cloud base, I glide to a mountain called Salmone, literally Salmon Mountain. The Salmone provides some lift, but it's a bit difficult to core, so I leave the climb and glide west. Note, there are not many places to land in the valley, so I have to concentrate on finding the next reliable thermal. Together with a couple of other pilots, we find an updraft and use it as a stepping stone to the next thermal that will take us back to cloud base. Being too eager, I hit the cloud, but luckily it was only a few meters. I use the clouds to fly towards the first big valley crossing of the day. In this area the clouds are bigger and the thermals are stronger. Here it is, the Domodossola crossing. I have enough altitude, so let's push the bar and get to the other side. During this 20-minute crossing I can drink, eat and play with my brake handles. The valley breeze comes from the south, so I expect a reliable lift in this area. A few search strips show me the best lift area, so I use it to get to cloud base. The thermals are weaker in the lower layers. The higher I get, the better the lift. Leaving the thermal and heading west, we are only one valley away from our western turn point. I quickly gain some height and glide into the next valley, which will take me to the second highest mountain in the Alps and Western Europe, and also the highest mountain in Switzerland, the Dufourspitze. Joining the native flyers is always a highlight. I was a bit worried that they would attack me, but they are just having fun. I used the clouds again to fly up the valley to my western turn point. This breathtaking scenery is simply extraterrestrial. What a great view! And finally, ladies and gentlemen, there it is, the Dufourspitze. Unfortunately, the cloud base is too low to see this beauty in all its glory. So my western turn point is set, and I start my journey towards the St Gotthard Pass. I try to fly as few circles as possible to increase my average XC speed. For some reason, this nice thermal just ended unexpectedly, or maybe we both just lost it, so I continue to the ridge. This one works better, and I glide to the next valley crossing. On the other side, I hit a strong thermal and quickly get back to cloud base. I love it. If only every thermal would work like this one. You expect it here and it shoots you up to cloud base. I crossed the valley to the east side and need to revise my route plan. Do I fly to the left where the clouds shade the valley, or should I take the right side? I decide to go left because it's the shortest way to my northern turn point. Even though the valley is shaded, the thermals still work up here, so I get to cloud base and continue north. The thermals are weaker here though, so we need more time to climb. After some searching, I finally reached cloud base and have to make a decision. My northern turn point is here, but the sky over this area is completely blue and the cloud base is a bit too low. I don't want to take the risk of flying into this area where I might have to land in the middle of nowhere. Instead, I decide to look for another way. Flying along these slopes is always a highlight. These are the moments I love paragliding for. After reaching cloud base, I don't see a safe way north, so I fly to the next peak to the east. This is where I lose a little bit of time because I want to gain as much altitude as I can. You'll soon see why. Looking at this landscape, can you decide where you would fly? You don't really want to land anywhere here. I have to study my terrain map carefully, and I think I found a way. But first I climb as high as I can. My idea works quite well, so I'm able to escape the snow prison. However, I couldn't reach my first planned turn point, so I decided to change it. I want to reach the northern slopes of the Valle Leventina near Airolo. It's just east of the Gotthard Pass. The The crossing of Airolo is a pleasure. I hit a convergence right in the middle of the valley and climb at 3 meters per second. This convergence is caused by the north winds, so I realized that the north side of this valley could be quite turbulent, and soon you'll see that it is. There's a small airport here, and I'm not allowed to fly below 1600 meters in this area, so I decide to go back and gain enough altitude to fly safely over the restricted zone. It looks like the north wind is coming down from here. Look, blue sky, no thermals, and then it hits the terrain, so the thermals will be very turbulent on this slope. And they are. I turned off the image stabilization for a moment to give you an idea of the air I hit here. After some flapping and sweating, I'm able to get through the turbulence, and this lee side climb becomes quite comfortable. Finally, I have enough altitude to cross the airport and mark my northern turn point. Now the way back to the takeoff begins. Although it's already 5 p.m, the thermals are really strong. This is where I hit the strongest thermal of the day so far. The flight back seems to be a little bit easier, because I only have to follow the ridges and sunny slopes. Still, some searching is needed to get a strong climb. The air is still very active, so I'm quite confident that I'll reach my planned landing site. Flying through these strangely shaped clouds, what a view! From here I could glide directly to the landing field near the mountain I took off from, but I decided to extend my triangle a bit. The valley breeze is very strong here, so I want to reach this ridge and climb in the thermals pushed up by the wind. The crossing goes well, but I noticed that there is a high voltage power line right on the ridge. I have to be very careful here, as the air is quite turbulent. I feel very uncomfortable here, especially because of the sharp-edged thermals that cause this. But after some struggling, I finally get a good thermal and climb over the ridge. This is my last turn point, so I'm really excited and start my final glide towards the landing field. Notice how slow I'm flying, even though I'm pushing the speed bar. Engaging full speed gets me further. This is Bellinzona. This is me. And this is my final glide into the sunset. I hope you enjoyed this ride. I know I did. Feel free to reach out to me via my socials. You can find them in the video description. Thanks for watching and see you in the next story.